Hello, everybody, and welcome to Make
Make
That
that
Game.
game.
The AGDQ breakdown episode thing.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be a normal episode where we talk about game ideas, so if that's what you're here for, go back and listen to your favorite episode. Give us a week. But, yeah, awesome games done quick just happened.
Woo, it was
How
great.
exciting is that?
I mean, it's sad that it's over, honestly.
Oh, by the way, I'm Isaac.
I'm Claire.
Yeah.
We're
This
just
is a
so
special
hype. We're
episode.
just
Yeah,
so
we're so
hype
hype.
about GDQ and all the speedruns that we forgot our names.
Yeah. 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 So let's see. Should we talk about what AGDQ or speedruns is, or should we say you should have been there for the live stream, you should have been there for a previous episode?
I'll
Do
just
we
do
just assume that the people here are big AGDQ heads?
I think we have to assume that we might always have a first listener.
Okay.
I'm just going to quickly summarize. So, AGDQ stands for Awesome Games Done Quick. It's a speed running marathon. So, people playing video games as fast as they can. There's world records, there's groups that do this. You practice all the time. This is like a big deal. And it's a 24/7 marathon. So, they start on a Sunday, they end on like Sunday and at like 1 to 2 a.m. the next week. And, it raises money for the Prevent Cancer Foundation. That was this one's. They also do it in the summer. So that's what it is. That's the one sentence summary of what we're talking about. So we love it. We love speed runs. We love watching. We love donating during them. We love the whole thing.
It's an amazing time of year. It should be a national holiday for
Should be.
all nations.
It should be. So that being said, Isaac, what was one of your favorite runs that we got to see this AGDQ?
My favorite run. So I actually have two of them, and it's pretty funny because they're basically the bookends. In my eyes, not literally, because it's the second and the penultimate run, respectively. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, just because Legend of Zelda, like Breath of the Wild, is a goofy, glitchy game. So it is wild. It's like 30 minutes, I think,
Breath
was
of the
their
Wild, am I right?
yeah, exactly. So, it starts off right off the bat like they phase through a wall, and then they never stop phasing through walls. They never take normal doors. They get behind like little shrines. They're like little domes that usually you have this long cinematic that a gate opens up, you put like your tablet inside of a little thing, the gate opens up, you take an elevator down. No, they just get behind it and then they like roll through it and they're
Walls are
inside.
walls are really a suggestion in
Yeah.
speedrunning.
In the best speedruns, walls are a suggestion. Sometimes the games force you to obey the walls and it's bad. But there's that. They have cool things like I forget exactly how they did it, but they were basically sliding through the air at rapid speeds.
It was like a shield glitch. Like they jump and then they did something with their shield to just like float basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just extremely fast through the air, go wherever they want, almost like instantaneously. And then obviously it shows off extreme skill when they're fighting like the end game bosses with the only equipment that they can find, and they have very precise windows where it's like safe to attack. And because Breath of the Wild's mechanics are um, the durability of items reduces as you use them, you have to keep track of exactly how many arrows you have. You can't waste any, or you have to go out of your way to get extra to have them to waste if you aren't like fully confident, if you want to prepare for like marathon luck. And yeah, exciting stuff. And then on the other end of GDQ was Pokemon Legends Arceus, which didn't really have so many glitches as much as it did just have wild, skillful gameplay. Like the runner was, when it wasn't a cutscene, constantly moving, constantly throwing balls, constantly keeping track of how many research points they needed, how many research tasks they were getting. and it was just such a like precise, skill intensive, like constantly on, except the cutscenes run, and I thought that was really cool. How about you, Claire?
Yeah.
Favorite run or runs?
Well,
I
I.
know you gave me one, but I gave you two.
What do you mean I gave you one?
Sorry, you asked for one, but I
Oh.
gave you two.
um well, first I want to say I also liked those runs that you described. I think so. I actually just started playing Breath of the Wild, which brings me to one very quick GDQ tangent. As I do love it because I get excited to play video games. Like I'm like I want to try that. I want to do that game. That game looks cool. Like that's kind of a fun part of GDQ. And I um and we have Breath of the Wild. Isaac's played it, and I was like, man, like I love Legends of Zelda. I should try it. So I started last night actually. I think I would have enjoyed the Breath of the Wild run better if I had at least played even 5 minutes of it, like just to understand. Well, because I think some runs it is like if you know how it normally goes, it just makes it so much more fun to watch
Yep.
the abnormal playthrough. Like knowing how the temples really work in Breath of the Wild would have made it that much funnier to see how it goes. And then yeah, the Pokemon run was great as well. Some of my favorites. I feel like I was saying I felt like this year didn't hit as hard as last year's summer games.
Yes.
I think there's a couple things going on with that. One being the Summer Games Done Quick was really my first GDQ, like full watch through, full excitement
Hmm.
for it, which had a big impact. It also had two of my top video games featured, which was
They can't beat the top video
no,
games.
it was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and then it was Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion, which like the fact that Turnip Boy even made it in was amazing, and so that like you can't beat it if you have two of your favorite games. You can't beat it. So I was just hyped. I also think we discovered more games we were interested in playing last year. Like we had a whole list of things that we discovered just by watching GDQ. And I feel
That's
like
the best part.
yeah, I feel like we don't really have that this year though. I mean, I had games I wanted to play, but they weren't like new games I never tried before. I was like, oh, Breath of the Wild existed in our house for a while. I should really play
That's
that
true.
game.
It encouraged you to actually play it. Yeah, actually, you're right. Last Summer Games Done Quick, I feel like I walked away with a list of games that I wanted to try. The ones that I actually did try, I have so many games on backlog. Anyways, I just can't do it. But yeah, this one, I have a very small list.
Yeah. So anyway, all that being said, one of my favorites was Kirby's Adventure, which was on the Wii. And we're going to talk a little more about the Kirby blocks later, but I really liked watching that one, not necessarily due to the like methods used in the speedrun, though they were pretty good, but because it was so Kirby's Adventure is a redo of an old Kirby game. So it's very old style, and I love Kirby games, and but I started with Forgotten Land, so I don't really know like the lore of Kirby. I haven't played old games. So I think for me it was just really fun to watch like one of the early games exist. Like
Yeah.
to see the character design, like see the world design, see what's very similar, see what's different. Like that was super fun for me to just see that play out. And then my other favorite run was the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of Sins or whatever.
Scholar of the First Sin.
Okay, it was really close.
Yeah.
I loved that one. I played Elden Ring for probably a cumulative like 35 minutes, let's say.
Hey, that's enough.
So I understand a little bit about Dark Souls, like how it works, how you play. And the runner was just so fun to watch. He was so excited to just like be there. He started running in like 2020 and was just like, "Oh my god, I never would have imagined I'm here." Like they're like going back and forth for the world record in that game. There was
The
so
fact
many.
that it crossed 2 million.
Yeah, we reached 2 million donations during the game. They were like, it was just so fun to watch. And of course, like, it's really fun to watch a Dark Souls game where they take out the boss in like 30 seconds.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
that's
the
just
bosses,
like,
the bosses he was obliterating at such like low levels with such low stats and practically like no equipment. I'm like, that's all I needed to do? Really? I just needed to get one little rapier and that boss would have been 30 seconds?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, the no equipment's always great because it's like, why take the time to put on clothes? We're just going to run around and like, I don't know. So that would really got me. I thought that was really fun to watch. And it was a great length. I think it was like an hour and 20 minutes. It's like a perfect.
Yeah, yeah. A tight 90.
A tight 90. We love a tight 90. Yeah, I can't watch like, I don't know. I feel like there is a perfect length for a speed run. I kind of don't like the super, super short ones because I don't get to like settle into it as much.
Speaking of super, super short ones, I just remembered Ocarina of Time, which was fun
That
to
was
be on the
great.
couch with me because it was estimated like 35 minutes or something, and we were hitting like the 25-minute mark. I was like, hold on a second. They haven't fought any bosses yet. How are they gonna end this game? And I don't know, do we do spoiler alerts
Oh,
for
no.
this kind of
No,
thing?
it
Like,
already happened.
okay.
If you didn't watch it live, we can watch the VOD if you want to see what we're talking about. But
Okay, so the way that it ends is they fight they do a bunch of stuff, then they go back and they do the very first boss of the game, and then they do what's called a wrong warp, and it warps them to the final cutscene of the game, so it's a technical end, any percent end. And yeah, it was just like out of nowhere they go fight the first boss, and then they're like, okay, game over, and I'm like, what?
it was fun to be next to Isaac at that moment. It was really good. He's like, there's no way they can finish it in 2 minutes. There's no way. And then they're like, time. It was great.
It didn't make any sense.
That was beautiful. That was a fun one too. Yeah. So we had a great time. But yeah, those are my favorite runs.
And I'm just going to do a shout out for Legend of Zelda Link to the Past that the community worked extremely hard to unlock at the final second.
Yes.
Not a game that I could ever speedrun the 100% category of, because there is so many glitches to keep track of, and like locations and off map running and stuff that you have to do. It looks cool. It also looks a little sickening sometimes because the textures break every couple of seconds. Um, but it was a cool run. It was worth the community banding together and donating something like $90,000 in 5 minutes. It was amazing. Excuse me. It was amazing stuff.
Yeah, it was fun.
So now that we've talked about our favorite games, let's talk about maybe, I guess, the structure of this specific Awesome Games Done Quick.
Yeah. So
Maybe.
I'm guessing by structure you mean like schedule and how that worked out.
Yeah, like the schedule and stuff, because we have some comments.
Now, I will say, I want to preface this by saying a lot of people watch AGDQ from all over the world.
Hmm.
So we're talking about the Eastern time zone here. And so it's like maybe we're just a little spoiled in the Eastern time zone because GDQ is out of the Eastern time zone.
Yes.
So
Well, Summer Games Done Quick is, I think. Sorry, Awesome Games Done Quick is. I think Summer Games Done Quick is normally done in the same time zone as like Colorado. I think it's like a Midwestern.
oh,
I think
Colorado's mountain, Midwest is
Mountain
central.
Time. I don't
Do
know
not
why I think
confuse
that.
Colorado with the Midwest. No, no, no.
Okay, sorry.
No, no, no.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, maybe that's why summer games hit better because we could watch more games. I don't know.
Oh, maybe.
I felt like this year I couldn't really watch the games I wanted.
We have a backlog of VODs that we need to watch.
I feel like it's so hard for me. The reason we say we have a backlog is because I was like, I'm not going to watch them unless we watch them together because that's just. I like the live element of it. It's hard for me to sit down and watch a replay of something that was live. Like, I don't know. That's just me. But I do really want to see some. So the biggest one that I was mad about is Mr. Shasta running Kirby Star Allies. Kirby Star Allies is kind of a big game. Like, people like it. It's a newer Kirby game. It's on the Switch, so people play it, like regularly. And Mr.
Shasta is also a regular runner,
right,
of Kirby games.
Yes.
Or of games at GDQ.
Yep, and Kirby specifically, and he was the one who ran Forgotten Land in the summer games, which was like one of my absolute favorite runs. It was so freaking fun. He's very good. He's in like the top 5 world record for that game. Anyway, so he's a good runner, a great runner, right? And then great game that people know, character that people love. 2 a.m. 2 a.m. 2 a.m.
Yeah.
folks. 2 a.m. is the slot for like Goat Simulator, Power Wash Simulator.
Honestly, Goat Simulator, I think
You're mad about that one. That one was at a 3 a.m. slot, I think, too.
Like, I think Goat Simulator is an early morning, but not too early morning slot. Like
Mm.
it like awful game, silly
Like
game
a
block.
7 a.m.
Like 7, yeah, that's what I personally think because Goat Simulator is fun to watch and like its
Yeah.
entire thing is it's full of glitches. And I think the glitch showcases are pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm remembering, I'm just gonna talk about the start of the marathon. So first, they had a extended like 30-minute long skit for
Which
their
is funny. We
pre-show,
like it.
which was funny. It was good, but at a certain point, I expected them to talk about like what AGDQ like actually was, and I think they did like the last 3 minutes there, but they basically previewed the schedule through the window of a D&D game, which was kind of hard to glean information off of, but it was a fun skit. Then they go into Splatoon 3, which like didn't really have many glitches to showcase. It was just watch someone play a game good and fast.
But
Um,
that was the first game in Summer Games too. Was not Splatoon, but I mean it was Monster Smasher. It wasn't Monster
Monster
Hunter.
Hunter?
No,
Oh.
they like had these big colossal monsters, and they would like
Oh,
climb
Shadow of
them
the Colossus.
and stab them. Yeah, so that wasn't
That's
glitchy. That was just
true.
straightforward.
Okay, yeah, maybe fine. Splatoon 3, you can keep your opening game, but I don't know. Opening game, and that's just my own bias. To be clear, it's just my own biases. Since I'm here for the glitch showcases, effectively,
Yeah.
that they made me wait an entire hour for Breath of the Wild with its incredible Switch showcase or glitch
See, I
showcase.
was glad that Breath of the Wild was a little later because we live streamed right before it started, and then I had to go to the grocery store or something, and so I was like, I have time, real quick,
Oh,
while Splatoon happens,
yeah.
so I can get back in time for Breath of the Wild. Um, but that's just personal. Yeah, I do think it's like it's got to be a nightmare to schedule it. To be
Oh,
fair, like
I actually don't understand how they possibly can schedule it with the bonus games because, like, how do you tell someone, and maybe these people are just that dedicated, but like, you've got a Cuphead player for the first bonus
Cuphead
game
was
that's
good.
scheduled for 7 o'clock. What's the PDF say for Cuphead's initial schedule?
Let's find out. Yeah, so I downloaded a PDF the day that it started. And what's so fun is that they'll always get behind, especially when it's
Yeah.
online events because they have technical glitches and all this stuff. And so now we have what they originally thought things would happen as, and then Isaac
Yeah.
has how they actually happen. So that's
Yep.
kind of fun for us. All right, so let's see. So it's Cuphead. Cuphead. Thank goodness it's a searchable PDF. All right, Cuphead was at 7:14 p.m.
Okay. So Cuphead actually happened at 7:32
Oh,
p.m.
not too
It's
bad.
It not too bad. Only 18 minutes behind schedule. It started. So it is a bonus game. So the runner was Jason 2890. So do they just say Jason 2890? Will you be on standby from like 7 o'clock? Because I assume that there is at least 15 minutes of setup time. Will you like be on standby and then maybe you won't even play the game and then you
So
have an hour long thing, um and then the all the people after that runner, so then like the Donkey Kong Country 3 at 9:20, so do they just say, hey, Donkey Kong Country 3 racers, Blue Pen 49, Laugh, and Shaft, um you have to be ready for this to happen at 7:32 in case Cuphead doesn't get the Cuphead goal doesn't get met,
it
but
sounds
you also
like
have to be ready to do it
It
at
sounds like we
9:30.
should get a guest. We should get a guest on the pod from
They're
the.
all too big for us. No one. Well, maybe they
I
do
was gonna
seem
say,
pretty nice. I bet we
I
could.
feel like we could get like someone who works there, not like like someone who just like helps the scheduling team, right?
Yeah, like a volunteer person. I don't
Yeah,
think
it's
we
like
could get
what?
Mike Uyama.
No, although isn't he stepping down?
Yeah,
So
he stepped down. So.
what's he doing? Come on the pod. um, yeah, I think they definitely have a strategy, and I think they we didn't not win a bonus game this whole time. I think it's pretty rare that they don't make a bonus
Yeah,
game.
I think
So
that there was one during Summer Games Done Quick that did not meet the incentive. No, wait, that was the Pokemon one.
that was the one where they
That
really fudged it. They
Yep.
really pushed it. So sometimes when they're very close to meeting an incentive, they're like really buy some time somehow and be like, well, we'll just actually if 10 more minutes. And it's like,
Which
okay.
as long as it raises money, like cool.
Yeah, not a bad thing. But so I think generally speaking, they know they're going to go on, but I think it's less stressful for the person who's running the bonus game. It's stressful in the sense that you don't know if you're going to actually run a game, but generally you can assume you will. I think it's more stressful for the person right after them because you're right, they probably have to be on deck just in case, and like
Yeah.
that's kind of annoying. But I think that it usually goes. I was looking at the schedule, and I can't believe neither of us talked about the actual best run, which was airboat percent of Portal.
Oh.
The run like that like defined this AGDQ. I think was the airboat
Yeah.
percent of Portal. Talk about glitches, like
Which actually, speaking of airboat percent, this I guess it's technically I'm going off rubric a little bit. I'm going to talk about this as structure, but airboat percent was a funny thing, and then because of it, it became a meme throughout the rest of AGDQ. So for people who didn't tune in for airboat percent and tuned in like the day after, all the incentives are like name this character, blah blah blah, and everybody was submitting airboat. And like if you missed that run, you would have no idea why airboat seems to be such a popular name. And I think that the GDQ announcers, when meme names are like winning or like on the board, maybe just explain and be like,
yeah.
"Hey, airboat is a reference to the Half-Life 2 airboat percent. Go watch that VOD."
Yeah, so just for some more context, like incentives to help raise money can include naming files or naming characters in games when that's an option, and that's a really fun one. That can be super fun. I donated for Mr. Rogers to be one of the Pokemon's names, and it was a narrow margin, so I like to think I really helped that one out to win, and that's fun. But I mean, I'm sure there's people from other countries who don't know who Mr. Rogers is, and they're like, "What's going
Yep.
on with that?" Like, you could just say like, "Wow, we're so like," and the winner's Mr. Rogers, named after like a lovely like childhood TV personality from America. That's all you have to say. But there was one for Pokemon Arceus that was winning by a ton, and it was called Cajo Glitch, Cajo Glitch. And we went down a rabbit hole trying to figure this out. And it turned out it's a French meme of the Snuggle Bear, like the Snuggle Bear from like the early 2000s Snuggle laundry detergent cartoons, as the Cyndaquil Pokemon.
I feel like we still don't have
We
full
still don't,
context
yeah,
for
we
that.
still don't know
That's-
why that exists, but we do know that's what it means, and that
But
French fans really like rose to the occasion and donated for
Yeah.
that. So, but knowing that made us feel better about it winning because we're like, wow, that's actually kind of cool. Like the French gaming community really like teamed up. They wanted this. It's funny to them. It's great. But if we didn't know that, we'd just be kind of like, oh, that's kind of like dumb. Like, what even is that, right?
Yeah.
So,
And that honestly, that's kind of how I felt at the start. I was like, this isn't even like a runner's name. I was like, but at the beginning of the deep dive, I was like, Keijo or Keijo glitch, not even like a runner name, not even like an actual glitch that I can find. What's the context for this? When I finally found like a French restream tweet about it that was like, we French speedrun fans are going to get Keijo glitch as the name, and I was like, oh,
a
okay. And
clue.
then somebody posted, if you're wondering, this is what the origin is, and it was a picture of
The Snuggle Bear.
Cyndaquil with the Snuggle Bear's face like attached onto it, and then had to
And that was
research
it.
why the
That was
Snuggle Bear was Keijo.
Yeah, because the Snuggle Bear's name in French is Cajoline,
Yeah,
which I don't know why that is. I didn't even know the Snuggle Bear had a name. I don't know if it does. And then, so we still don't know why the meme exists. Like, they need to know your meme in French.
yes, yeah. It was English. This is English privilege. In a way, like know your
I
meme
guess.
will tell us anything that's happening in like the Western English speaking world. We'll know all of that, but I don't think it has categories. I don't think it goes into that kind of stuff
We
for
don't
like
have to
French
think.
speakers.
We can know.
Oh,
Nope. Keijo glitch does
Okay.
not come up. I'm gonna look up Keijoline just in case.
Okay, see if like Cajoline in general is
No.
somehow a meme.
Nope. Not on Know Your Meme. Okay, so Keijoline's not the name of the bear, it's the name of the product.
Oh,
Because I
interesting.
just Googled it, and so it's like on the box. It's not called Skuggle. Oh, yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, Keijoline. I thought I had it. I don't. No
All right.
idea. No idea. If you're French or if you know somehow what's going on, please, please let us know. Please. But anyway, yeah. So that was one thing where we were like, it would be so nice if they let everyone in on the joke. That would be great.
Yeah. And I don't know if they don't do that because like they don't know themselves, and I guess I don't really know what the research for that looks like. Like unless it's an AGDQ specific meme, like airboat percent and all the references to airboat afterwards, you can obviously explain. And if it's like deep cut AGDQ lore, like kill the animals, save the animals, which still got referred to a couple times, even though, as far as I can tell, they haven't done the Metroid run in a while. They can explain that, like if they get a donation that just makes a reference to kill the animals or saving the animals or whatever, then they can be like, "Oh, we used to run Metroid." Even during like an interview or like in between games or something, just I mostly in between games, because during a game you want to give the runners as much attention as possible and only talk during the small gaps where you want to fit as many actual donations as possible.
Mhm.
But just like a little bit more like letting us know what all these memes we're missing are, because we can't be glued to the TV for 168 plus hours,
Yeah.
or can we?
Or can we? Yeah. Well, I mean, despite all that, I do think it was a fun time.
Oh, yeah, sorry, to be absolutely clear, loved every second of it.
So we kind of already talked about incentives, but did you want to talk about prizes at all?
Yeah, so normally the prizes do like normally there are prizes that catch my eye and I go, gotta have that. I didn't feel that the prizes were super good this time around. There was some standouts, obviously. There was like some really good Kirby related ones.
There were some cute Kirby ones.
But oh, that I don't know, should the controversial
I don't
one.
know enough about it to talk about it.
Yeah, I just know that they did make a tweet, and I believe that they pulled the prize. There were some controversial prizes. I would advise, if you want to know more about that, maybe look for their official statements on it,
Hmm.
because
We
maybe
don't
we're
really
not
know.
well informed enough to talk about it.
Yeah, I
But
would say that. Yeah, the prizes last year. Well, I honestly last year there weren't that many prizes I wanted personally.
well, there was the Turnip Boy
That was
plush.
like the biggest one that I
Yeah.
wanted. Yeah, and that's yeah. Other than that, I wasn't that into it. I think the prizes are tough, honestly, because so basically when you donate during a prize block. And you could get any that puts you into a raffle to win any of the prizes available during that block. But I don't know, like I just know Kirby. And so I could win this like something from a game that I've never played in my life and
Kirby and
just
Zelda.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, a lot of the Zelda iconography I don't really recognize or vibe with.
That's true. So if it was specifically Links to the Past, if it was Kapora Gabora the owl, a little perler of that guy,
I'd be like, who is
or
this?
wait, you don't the owl from sorry, Link's Awakening?
Oh, okay. Link's Awakening, I would know.
That's what
You
I
said
meant.
Link
Sorry, I
to the
said Links to the
Past.
Past.
I don't know that game.
Got Link to the Past on the brain.
I mean,
But yeah.
even the Triforce, because my first game was Link's Awakening, which is like doesn't even like it includes that on the
Yeah.
shield, but it doesn't really do anything with it. I got it for a Christmas tree topper, and I had to Google it to make sure it was like legit.
An actual thing. Yeah, no, the Triforce is a thing
Oh, I learned about it. Yeah, and I
in
was like,
Legend of
wow,
Zelda.
Link's Awakening's like the only game that doesn't feature it. That's great. That's fantastic. um, cool. But so it's like that kind of thing where you don't really know what you're gonna get. It's a mixed bag. Um, so that makes it hard to get excited. Like I think the prizes are nice, but they never really were the reason I was donating. I donated more
That's
for the
true.
incentives, like for naming something or getting a bonus game. That was kind of more fun.
actually, here's something to talk about. Incentives. Donating for incentives. I feel like it's easy to not understand how that all works.
That's
We
from
were
the
talking about
yeah,
this.
from the
Um,
digital perspective, like when you log in to donate. I think it's easy to skip or not understand how to actually get your incentive in.
yeah, and I didn't record hard numbers to be able to prove this or anything, but it seemed uh like during the big incentive rush to get Link to the Past going, it did seem like the overall number was increasing way faster than the incentive number is,
So
and
what
I'm not sure if anyone would purposefully say I don't want to see Link to the, like, maybe there
I think
are a
we have to I
couple.
think you have to be a little more clear about what we're talking about. So like we are very close to 2 million. And then also the incentive to play Link to the Past was going. So that means people were donating towards playing Link to the Past. Um,
Yes.
and they're also donating towards the general, like you can just donate. You can just donate at any time, just money. You don't have to put it towards anything. But
Yeah.
when you log into the donation page, there are you can choose to add an incentive and you can click on the incentives that are currently available, which could be like name a Pokemon, like fund this bonus game. There's some that you can do multiple incentives at a time, and there's some where you can only choose one to put your money towards. And I think the fact that it's an opt-in scenario is kind of odd. Like I was saying, they should have a pop-up or something that's like, do you want to donate to like the current bonus game or something that kind of prompts you, because when you're very close, because it's timed, you have a certain amount of time in order to get this incentive, you can get really hyped up and be like, I gotta get my donation in, and you're typing it up and it's loading and your PayPal's loading and you're like, I gotta go. And it's hard to like stop and think and be like, wait, how do I do this incentive? What's going on? Like I'm
Yep.
sure there's people who think if they just donate during that time, it goes towards the incentive, but it doesn't unless you say put this towards the bonus game. So that's what we're talking about.
So yeah, in my opinion, really what it should be is it should be like a required selection that has no default, and you have to explicitly click none. Like it should have an explicit like checkbox for none, so that if you do all your stuff, you go to the end of the page, you click submit, and then it says, "Hey, you're missing a required field." So you go back and you look at it and you say, "Oh, okay. Do I really not want any of these incentives, or did I mean to put this towards Link to the Past or whatever?" Because like I based on the rates that things were climbing, I it really seemed like people were donating,
Okay. The
and
first
maybe they
time,
were just donating to hit 2 million and didn't care about Link to the Past and didn't want to see it. So let's just move on. And uh, did we already talk about games that we wished we saw? And we talked about
no,
that we had a VOD list, but games that we wished we saw?
like wish we saw Run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so one of my wish list ones was definitely Pokemon Scarlet Violet, but I knew it would probably be too early.
Oh,
'Cause
sorry. I meant in the sense of like games that happened during the marathon that
oh,
we haven't been able
oh,
to watch yet.
okay. I thought you meant like wish list dream streams.
But that is also it's also a good question to say games that we wish to watch in the future. So I'm just
Yeah.
gonna go out there and say it. PS5 simulator. What the heck is PS5
Yes.
simulator?
We
I'm
have to
not
watch
looking
that.
it up. I just want to see the VOD.
Yeah, so our VOD list definitely PS5 Simulator, Goat Simulator. I want to see.
Hmm.
I am sad. I will say so. Like in summer, it's the silly block, and in winter, it's the awful block. But basically, the games that are just like goofy and weird, like because I think the summer games actually got delayed way more. Like than this one's like the Turnip Boy was literally like 4 or 5 hours after it was supposed to be,
Oh,
which worked out for yeah, because it was
yes.
at like 8:30 a.m. and it was supposed to be at 4 a.m. So I think that actually worked out for me a lot better because we got to see a lot of the silly block.
Yep.
Um,
Which is
because
always
Turnip Boy
good.
was during the silly block, and it was instead of being at like 3 a.m. and 4 a.m., it was at like 7 a.m. So we're like, oh, great, beautiful. And they're just so fun and goofy, and it's a fun way to see games that people have just made, and it's very much like in the spirit of Make That Game, I think, of like these just like random
Yeah.
ideas that become games. So
Silly
we
block
love
more
that.
so.
Yeah.
It feels like
Yeah.
Scusi? Excusey?
Excuse, that's what I was thinking of. Oh, that was so fun. But
Untitled
anyway,
Goose Game, but you are a very rude man.
Yeah, no, we loved it. So
I'm going to
that's
die if I don't eat sushi game that we need to watch just to find out what the heck it is.
yeah, and again, like I already mentioned, but I feel like so the Kirby Star Allies was originally scheduled to be at like 11:50 p.m., which I think is too late, like for a big name game, because it is going to get pushed. You know, it's going to get pushed, and then it ended up at 2 a.m. and then the next day, the like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. slot was like Pio Fever something. It was like a match 3 game. And it's like, who knows what that is? No one knows what that is.
Puyo is very beloved by the Puyo fan base.
I'm sure.
Okay.
But it just felt like it felt like Kirby Star Allies. And then even Kirby's Adventure, like that was like at like 10 a.m. during a work week. Like
that's why it needs to be a national holiday. If it's a national holiday, you can watch everything that you want to watch. Guaranteed.
So we're definitely going to watch Kirby Star Allies. We're going to watch PS5 Simulator.
We're going to watch Puyo Fever 2 to find out if it really did deserve
the primetime slot. God, I feel like there was other ones.
Power Wash Simulator.
I was intrigued by that. Yeah, we might want to check that one out.
I really want to watch Mega Man 64. I didn't notice until now that it is actually a race. And Mega Man 64, aka Mega Man Legends, just a beloved game from my childhood. So I just want to see it broken.
Simpsons Hit and Run got an 8:30 primetime PM slot. What? Like, what? Why?
Hey, sometimes you just got to. And now, when we
Kirby Air Ride, I would watch just because I love Kirby games. I'm not mad that it was in a weird time, but
I gotta figure out how that's speedrunnable, because like Mario Kart, I get it. You can do like big jumps from like one section of race to a much lower section, like just jump off the track, and if you do it perfectly, you land. But Kirby Air Ride, as far as I know, is both a racing game, so you have a set track that you have to do, but also it's like literally on rails. Like you are on a star on a rail. So like I don't know how you can like get shortcuts when you're stuck on a rail, but that's why I gotta watch it.
Right. I don't know, I feel like that's pretty much it. We were able to watch, luckily, a lot of the ones we really wanted to watch.
Yeah, and everything else is just gravy.
Yeah, so that's good.
So yeah, that's GDQ.
That's GDQ. AGDQ. And we'll be back again with more Games Done Quick coverage in the summer for Summer Games Done Quick.
Woo!
Woo! It's going to be great. I hope that's the one. I'm almost positive they've got to have a Scarlet Violet run. Oh, man. That's going to be...
Yes.
The reason I'm so hyped for that is because not only have I played it, and by that time I'll have played it all the way through, but like, it's just like so glitchy. It's just asking for a speed run.
Mm-hmm. And
I'm just excited.
Now, I want to point out, AGDQ or GDQ is not just awesome games done quick in the winter and summer games done quick in the summer.
True.
It also has hot fixes. I think basically every night of the week, you can watch people doing speed runs on their hotfix. So
Twitch.
Check out their website, gamesdonequick.com, for more info on that.
And if you...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if you want to try speedrunning, you can go to speedrun.com and find your game that you like and join their Discord and start trying it out.
Which, someone in this podcast might have done.
Yeah.
Been inspired. Won't say who it is.
You guess, listener. Who do you think is going to run games, and what game do you think they're going to run?
Comment on this video.
Yes. But yeah, okay, well, that's our show. That's our GDQ wrap-up. We were really excited. We had a great GDQ. And again, looking forward to the summer one. And yeah, that's us. If you see a game out there that you want to run, we encourage you to get out there and speed run that
speed
game.
I
Good.
put speed in the middle of that one.